Welcome back, Lindby listeners, to another Counterpoints. I'm Goodrich.
I'm Allie.
I'm Kyle.
And I'm Spurrier.
So this time, Kyle's got a little something he wanted
Bringing
to
something to the
discuss.
table.
Kyle?
I don't mind. Don't mind if I do. So, if aliens were to land on Earth tomorrow,
Or today, even.
or today even, minutes from now, oh God, no. What piece of music would you play for them to say, like, hey, welcome to Earth. Let's show you some of our culture. Of course, as we know, it was Voyager 1.
I believe
that
so,
sent out the
yeah.
golden disc. So, they've gotten a little taste of Mozart, Chuck Berry, Beethoven, Bach.
A bunch of stuff from around the world.
Stravinsky, too, even.
Stravinsky.
Yeah, the Red
Yeah.
Springs
Yeah.
on there.
Some other blues people and such.
So that in mind, we essentially, I guess we're going to make a golden disc volume 2.
A Lindby disc.
Yeah,
A Lindby disc,
a
yeah.
Lindby golden disc. It'll be good.
Yeah,
So, I'll go ahead and start off by saying that I'd probably play for them "Turn Out the Stars" off of Bill Evans' "California Here I Come" album. He has many other takes on different ones, but that one just resonates with me more than the others. Just if you know Bill Evans, anytime he plays a song, it's not the same every time. So you really get different nuances
jazz,
in there.
baby.
Yeah, man, he just flows on it. So there's just a lot that goes into that song. Like you get many much dissonance in it, and the resolving consonants of it just really kind of elates me in many ways. And then the melody is just very hummable, very just it's like you could sing it. So, and I don't know if there's a vocal version of the song. I didn't look that deep into it, but
I don't think so.
I don't even
'cause
think
it's
there's words to it.
Bill Evans and someone else wrote it. It was two guys, I think.
Yeah.
Right? I can't
Sounds
think
like a job for Lindby.
Maybe we can come up with our own lyrics.
Figure it out.
There you go.
Pay homage.
Well, and they'll know what stars are pretty much. We can.
Yeah, or unless they
relate
call
that,
it
be
something
like,
else,
Hopefully,
Imagine them turning
hopefully
off.
turning out stars isn't like some sort of declaration of war or
Oh
something.
no, I didn't even think
Turns
about
out your
that.
star.
Yeah. We'll turn
Like,
out the-
oh, you want your sun gone? Great,
yeah,
that's
okay,
good.
sure, yeah. You guys are ready to meet your maker or whatever. Yeah, all right, fine. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the Bill Evans trio, which is of course Bill Evans. You have Eddie Gomez on bass and Philly Joe Jones on drums, and the way that they intertwine and converse with each other in that recording just it really sits well with me, and I think it's a good representation of us being Americans. Not to gloat or anything, but jazz is America's art form as far as music goes, and that
Right.
is kind of the representation I would want to put across. Is that listen, you may have heard stuff about America, and maybe not all of it's great,
Well, and I was gonna say if they
but
landed,
this is pretty good stuff.
yeah. But if they landed here, I mean, and we were giving them this, which would be representation of us, So it's kind of weird to straddle that line of like, well, when I was thinking about what I was gonna do, like straddling that line of like what we like, and also what represents like humanity. It's so deep. It starts to think like, oh,
But
man.
if
Voyager
they've
disc.
listened to the
Yeah,
disc, then
yeah.
they've heard some other cultures.
They've gotten a
and
lot
of
worldly
cultures in
music,
there,
right?
yeah.
Well,
They
maybe-
chose to land here.
Yeah. So are we saying that they have heard the
Let's
Golden
say
Yeah,
that they have.
we can assume that they
Assuming.
have. Maybe
Okay.
that's the reason they've decided to
Good.
show up. They just show them what you show me what you
Yeah,
got.
let's hear
Yeah.
some more. Come on now.
I'm glad they heard Rite of
Bring it
Spring.
Well, and if radio
Yeah.
signals have been going off of Earth for as long as they have, it's possible they've picked up on that stuff too, and they've
And then this
versed in all that
discussion's
was on the
pointless.
radio.
Could be their Earth greatest hits.
And we're clear.
Thanks,
Yeah.
guys. No.
Well, cool. Well, mine was I got it here on my phone. Whenever we were in music history, one of my favorite things was this Seklios, or Seklios, however you say it, the epitaph,
yeah.
which is the oldest surviving complete musical composition, including musical notation from anywhere in the world. So it's been dated variously from around 200 BC to around 100 AD, but the first century AD is the most probable guess. So it's got ancient Greek musical notation. It was engraved on a tombstone.
Thank you.
Not
Dr.
far
Lindenthal.
from Ephesus. Yeah. And the inscription is, while you live, shine, have no grief at all. Life exists only for a short while, and time demands an end. So I've always really liked those lyrics. It's
poignant.
Yeah. Oh boy. And it's the oldest surviving musical notation, which I thought would be kind of important to show an alien or someone who's just like, tell me what you're about. Because you have that, and you have like, oh, check it out. It's old, like, it's the oldest form, and back then, who knows? Maybe aliens were here.
Well, that's what I was about to say. It would be crazy. It's like, I don't recognize this, but that's Cyclios.
Yeah,
like
I got you.
Yeah,
I helped out with that.
And also when I was thinking about it, because I also kind of was thinking about jazz as well, and also just some sort of classical form, just without words or lyrics or anything, because the music is the universal language, and literally the universal language, if you will. But I was thinking it might be cool to have something with like a human voice in it, because as a species and as like the human race, like communicating with voice and stuff is hugely important, and
Operating system of our brain.
right, yeah. So I was thinking, I was like, yeah, it'd be really cool to be able to show an alien, because the melody is, I think, really sweet, just like the and it's very just flowing, and it almost straddles the line of like Western and Eastern music, because the whole thing behind it is Western music's very like tonic, dominant, subdominant, and there's an ending, there's a middle, and everything in between, ending, beginning, middle, and end, and all that. And then Eastern music over in Asia, and in Indian music and Chinese and Japanese, it's all very flowing, and it's very. We think we talked about this in music history, like how
Completely different structure set.
Yeah.
Like,
right,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
There's not like tonic and dominant. Like the sense of finality isn't really there. It's very much kind of motion of the ocean flowing, very pentatonic and
Or even different scales and
right, or even
Yeah.
different
stuff.
scales. There's-
microtonalism and everything like
well,
that.
yeah, and it's not about like an endpoint. It's more about like being in the.
It's more the journey, not
Yeah,
the
exactly.
destination.
Well, most of them were stories that were like transferred, verbally.
Yeah.
So it's there's reason behind that. It's
Yeah.
because they're telling the story, and the music will obviously lend
Yeah.
itself to that.
And so I think that the Seclicos or Seclios, I can't even say
We'll
it.
get
but-
there.
Yeah, but it's just like like it just kind of just goes and flows, but it kind of has a tonic, kind of doesn't. Like when we studied it was a really neat study. So anywho, that was mine, and I thought maybe
We had the score for that one, right? Wasn't
we
that technically
didn't have the score. I think
Wasn't that in lit though?
No, it is.
I thought it was in,
in Western
in the
music.
Norton stores though. Wasn't
I
that,
looked in the Norton scores and it was not.
You
in
can
there.
make me get up from this chair and go get my book.
I looked last night. All right, I'm just saying.
No, I don't think it's in the Norton scores. I think it's in a history of Western music.
Yes.
That's
Dang
what
it!
it's
I
in.
didn't look in that book.
Yeah, I've got it in my bookshelf.
Yeah, I've
Can
got
we
it.
post a picture of it?
Yeah, we'll post
Yeah,
a
we'll
picture
post
of
a
it. Click
picture,
the links
a
below.
link. Yeah. Well, yeah. For all these, we'll post a link in the comments of what the songs are, so you can listen to them and be like,
Or
yeah,
in the
that's not
description.
right. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Or
how
description,
you
right?
spell it.
Oh,
Seclicos.
Seclios. Yeah.
I think it's Seiklios.
Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah.
right,
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Cool.
Allie.
Well, there's a lot of different cultures to think of, but if we're focusing maybe on more of our Western culture, I'd have to go with something a little more modern. So I chose Bohemian Rhapsody.
No, nice.
I feel like Queen itself has so much to offer. Just the amazing harmonies that they're able to produce, the human voice itself. I mean, what Freddie Mercury can do with his voice is really amazing, and I'd want to kind of show that capability off.
Yeah.
But not only that, just like the emotion that you can evoke through the voice, even if they don't understand the words to that song, you can hear kind of what the song is about in his voice and the lamenting that he has going on. So it has also the different sections of it kind of show more human capabilities, the very rocking section compared to the more soft classical type section, and the
It's got an interesting form.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's through composed in a way, almost.
Yeah,
I mean,
in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and just going from start to finish, it's like a story into itself, and
is.
so I think
It
that's
is.
beautiful.
I mean, a lot of people regard it as kind of almost the quintessential rock song.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
Just how
it
much.
has everything that
Yeah.
you'd want.
It's a nice little sampler of
Yeah, and
anything rock has to offer.
Yeah, well, not to mention the chords too. I remember the first time when I was learning to play bass, I had a bass book and was learning the line in there. It was when I first was doing charts, and I just saw these chords and
Yeah.
it was just scary. I mean,
Yeah.
it looks like you're looking at a jazz chart, and then I kind of even
great.
beyond in a way. So
Yeah.
yeah.
The transitions they use from section to section,
Right,
it's just
right.
it's intelligently made.
Yeah, well, and like the recording itself, all the techniques they used, with all the double tracking, well, it was like quadruple,
Quintuple,
yeah,
sextuple
the tracking of the
tracking, yeah.
voices and how they put it all together, and I mean,
And doing it with tape too.
They're doing it with
yeah.
tape,
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
Oh god,
The best day ever.
yeah, and that's yeah, and I don't know, yeah, that's a good
Showing like, hey, if you've listened to the gold disc or whatever, like, look how far we've come, even from Chuck Berry and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, this is what we're capable of.
and more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I considered maybe like something like a love song or something, because who knows if they have those emotions or
They're just
what.
cold-blooded
Right.
reptiles.
Who knows? So being
They're
able
gonna
to
turn out
show
their
that like very human, raw emotion like that.
Yeah.
But I think Bohemian Rhapsody has a little bit of everything. So
Mama.
that's my choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, even though Beethoven is on there, for me it'd have to be Symphony 6, Movement 1, the Pastoral
Yeah.
or Pastoral. Or
Pastoral.
Pastoral. Yeah.
Pastoral.
There are multiple, but I feel it's a piece I could never get tired of. Like it's a
Nice.
piece I just get whenever I listen to it, like I get lost in it. I just his ability, Beethoven. Symphony 5 is on there, bum 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 bum, and his idea, like how he can milk an idea for everything it's worth, and then some. But it's a piece that I like so much. Like I took a score of it I found online and actually arranged it for solo piano and like was going through and writing it out by hand. Then of course I found out that Liszt did it, and his of course is way better and is actually playable ish. It's still super hard, but yeah,
For
If you got
Liszt,
the hands for it.
if you got the hands for it and the tech for it, but it's the most peaceful, just nature, the world all wrapped up into one.
Yeah.
Like all the good in the world is just like contained in that piece. Like,
Which is the
yes, he's
So that you say that, let me ask you: Would you couple that with the cartoon from Fantasia?
Oh,
Would you want to show
my
them that?
well, presuming they can see, and of course, this is presuming they can hear too. The whole crux of this. Honestly, my Fantasia knowledge is super. Like, I'd probably have to see it to know.
That's with the
Okay.
centaurs.
Yeah, it's with the centaurs. Yeah,
Not
it
the
is.
Nips and G one,
And the
is it?
satyrs.
It is.
It
Yes,
is.
it is. It is the.
See, we need to watch it anyway just to fully understand.
Right.
that.
Yeah.
It's another topic.
Lindby sides. album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
That's good though, yeah. And in Beethoven, geez, what a yeah.
I was thinking since they have heard Beethoven, I'd probably go on to Brahms and playing Brahms' First Symphony. And even though they haven't heard the Ninth, still
The
it's
Ninth would
the
be,
continuance of the genius.
The Glorious
That was-
Ninth was
Yeah.
was one of the runners up for me too.
that would
It's
be up
just like,
there.
Yeah.
No.
which is it's kind of funny, with I remember in music history class, I think it was Powell that was talking about the great divide that all the contemporaries have on the Ninth, whether it was like this ingenious piece, which the Ninth is, the end
of the Ninth is,
yeah. So there's like the great debate of like, was this Beethoven's like crown jewel, like his masterpiece, or was this just like the ravings of a deaf lunatic?
Happy accident.
Yeah, well, because
Yeah.
it's so simple, but people are like, but that's the brilliance of it.
I don't
you
see
know?
how people can keep that ideal when the man knew so much about theory
Yeah,
and orchestration.
exactly.
It just doesn't.
yeah.
It doesn't lend itself to being the ravenous, cacophonous, composition of
yeah.
a deaf man.
Yeah.
No,
And I
not
think-
in my mind.
yeah.
It can't be.
Yeah.
I agree. I think he knows enough, and you can even still feel it.
Yeah, like he put his ear on.
on the
when he was
ground,
Yeah.
and he
stuff,
could
yeah.
sawed the legs off his piano.
And there's people that are deaf today that play by sense of feel.
Yeah.
Feel the
Yeah,
vibration.
So, and if you're
all that, so-
Beethoven,
yeah, like
geez,
it's not like he
so-
was born deaf. So.
Not that we're gonna get into that discussion.
well.
Yeah, the Tristan and he's old too. Just go down all the
Oh,
rabbit
yeah.
holes. Yeah. Yeah. So, and I actually was thinking about this too while we were talking about the aliens. Kind of a segue off of this, but the whole Fermi paradox, which I guess I should put a link to the Kurzgesagt video about how, the Fermi paradox is, like if aliens did exist, we would have already met them by now. Just with how the universe is constantly
Who
expanding.
knows if we have or not, though?
Right. Yeah. They could be here right now watching. But the whole theory is, like the universe is constantly expanding
Faster and
faster and faster. And so even if there were people out there, we couldn't possibly get to them because, we couldn't, it's just impossible. Like we can see only so far, and we can see if they're out there kind of, but
things are right. Eventually the universe will go dark because the stars will move so far away from each other and
turn out the stars.
Turn out the stars.
Oh,
Yeah.
well.
Come full circle.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about here.
So, but yeah, then there's all the they talk about in the video, like the barriers of life. It's like how like with the billions and billions of galaxies, you know, if there was even like a 0.1% chance of something of life, that there's still like a billion or something. It's
lot.
crazy, isn't it? But like having to make it through all the barriers and at the same time as us, and
Yeah, a lot
it's
of
just like
that people could have gotten to the point where we're at, but then they wind up destroying
Destroying
themselves, or a
themselves,
sun
yeah.
expands, or like a
Yeah.
gamma ray burst, or there's so many things that could happen. So
Anywho,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's it's I don't know, it's crazy, but if they did show up, it'd be interesting if they landed right in the backyard. you
Yeah,
know?
hopefully they come
Hey.
to Lindby.
Yeah, hopefully
got-
come
we
to a
got you
Lindby
for you.
show. Okay, alien, subscribe. You know, just talking about cool stuff over
can
here.
you like our stuff?
Yeah, guys, come to our show, Christmas.
Can we get on that galactic Facebook?
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
man, we get so
Yeah.
many likes.
Oh boy. Anywho, yeah, so that's that. Let us know what song you would
Yeah.
want to show to an alien. It's an interesting discussion. Let us know what you thought about ours. As always, lindbymusic.com for all your Lindby needs. We've got lindby.bandcamp.com for all of our music. Subscribe to us on YouTube for all of our videos. Sign up for our email list for exclusive content. And social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And as always, love your mother.
Yep.
We'll see you.
Love your mother.
Beautiful. Yeah, that was a good,
Yeah.
nice size.
See, we made it. We did all right.
Yeah, that was a good,
Yeah.
nice.
We did all right. We did all right.